Landmines and jellyfish, welcome back to Knives, I guess, and the pact is sealed. So we're going to take a look at some of the marks of the beast when you're buying knives that are in this price range. Partly because it's interesting, and partly because this is where I'm at right now. You know, I don't have like 50 to 70 bucks to spend on something new every week, but I can work on these and work on the showdown. But one of the first big ones that I'm running into a lot is when I'm shopping on Amazon. Only the show side is in the picture. They don't show the back or the pocket clip or anything, which is most assuredly going to be a tip down. Now, there are some exceptions that I've gotten where I've been able to go down and look in video reviews or pictures of people, you know, on their reviews, and I found some tip up. But normally, it's tip down. And a lot of times, you know, these pocket clips are very, very low quality. This one happens to be a pretty nice pocket clip, but it's tip down. Personally, I don't like tip down. However, one of the caveats with that is there are some guys that make obscenely expensive customs and just obscenely high-end stuff that is tip down. And some people prefer it. Personally, I don't. But one of the other things is you're going to have fit and finish issues. You're going to have edges that aren't finished. You're going to have stuff like that. And you're going to have stuff like locks that just don't work well or they overcommit. That one is very, very hard to push out of the way of the blade, and it's uncomfortable. It digs into the finger right there very badly. One of the other things you can run into, and this is back to the garbage pocket clips, is the steel is very, very thin. It's not hardened properly, and you might be able to see I've carried this all twice, and you can see where it's bent here where I've had to push it back in already after carrying it twice. And this thing no longer touches the side of the knife. And that's one of those things you don't want to run into. A lot of the knives that are the same kind of stuff that would show up at Bud K, it's even thinner steel and it's just laid dead flat. I've tried one of them, and when I put it in my pocket, the clip just splayed out, like all the way. There was no point in trying to carry it. Something else with these is there's a lot of assisted openers, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but unless you open it up with some authority and let it go all the way, if you open it slowly, the lock doesn't engage. This lock isn't engaged. Like, you really have to give it some oomph to get that thing to lock. And that is just terrible. You know, if I have to open it slowly or I'm sitting there fidgeting with it, I don't trust this lock. One of the other things you can run into is just over-the-top designs for the price that, you know, like this was, I think, 13 bucks. That is an over-the-top design. And it extends to the blade. Now, this is a cool-looking knife, and I got it because it looks cool. I don't carry it very often because, one, it feels like it weighs about 1.5 pounds, and two, it's tipped down. And something else that'll come with these is fit and finish issues. Like, these scales aren't perfectly fit up. They catch right here. There's a big one right here where it's sticking out. And I've sent knives back or given them away because they've had even more egregious fit and finish issues that made it uncomfortable for me, but guys that aren't into knives that much don't really care. But that is something else to watch out for. And then one of the other big ones is you've got, and this is a prime example, that liner lock is paper thin. And for me, that's not necessarily such a big deal. I just need it to lock open because all of my cuts are in this direction. You know, I'm just cutting plastic wrap off of pallets, I'm cutting through cardboard, or I'm cutting up like this, trying to get rid of strapping on stuff that comes in. But I would not trust this for heavy piercing tasks going in like this, because if this lock fails, it's closing on my hand, and there is no way I want to live through that again. One of the interesting things with this is it was like $9.99, and the pocket clip can be moved to all four corners, here, 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 and here. And that's one of the things I don't understand is if you're making these knives, why does it have to keep being tipped down? All right, if Harbor Freight can do it for $9.99 and put this thing on bearings and make it function very smoothly, why can't everyone else do it? You know, why can't this pocket clip be movable and solid enough to be used? Why can't this pocket clip be movable? You know, I absolutely hate that about these things. And that tip-up requirement is making it so hard to find more stuff for the showdown. I am finding stuff, but it's a challenge. You know, and it's one of the things where, like, technology is all over the place. You know, this is definitely not on bearings, and the assisted open feels kind of gummy. And not on bearings also feels a little bit gummy, but it's a bit smoother. This one's not on bearings, and, you know, there's no reason it can't be on bearings. I know, like, nicer knives that you would carry in a dirty, dirty environment, you want phosphor bronze bushings, or you want the Teflon bushings. But like I said, if these guys can do this for $9.99, why can't everybody else at least do something comparable? But, you know, those are a bunch of the marks of the beast when you're looking for cheap knives and you're buying stuff, so always be cautious. Check everything you can to make sure you know what you're getting. The other thing that happens is the blade steel's not listed on Amazon. It's not marked on the blade. You have no idea what you're getting, which usually means it's like 440C or 3CR or, you know, something that, you know, for me, again, I'm in a light use environment. It doesn't matter that much to me, but if you're in a harder environment like I used to be, you don't want to be dealing with that. You want to be dealing with something a bit nicer, D2, 8CR, you know, something along those lines that you don't have to sharpen every 8 minutes. But that's kind of the stuff I've been running into and the stuff I've been looking at. Hopefully you found this at least a little informative. A subscription would be great. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs so that we can start doing giveaways and justify those things. But either way, you guys have a nice day.